of national television news correspondents, you likely don't think about Tourette syndrome.
But CBS News' David Begnaud, who made a name for himself championing for the people of Puerto Rico through his tireless on-the-ground journalism in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria, recently revealed he struggled with debilitating Tourette's as a child.
Earlier this afternoon, Charlotte and I talked with David about that diagnosis when he was 6 years old and how it shaped his career. Can you tell us a little bit about what Tourette's syndrome is?
Yeah, so Tourette's is a neurological disorder. In many ways, it manifests itself in tics. So I'll tell you one of my tics. I twist my head to the right quite a bit. Sometimes I don't realize I'm doing it until my neck starts to hurt. I also have a tic with my tongue where I kind of dart it to the left and I make a vibrating noise as I'm doing it. And then I'll notice sometimes when we're editing stories, say for example for the CBS Evening News, when I'm in the edit bay, I will hear myself sniffing, not in, but actually out of my nose. Most of the time I don't know I'm doing it. Sometimes I do, but ladies, I've been living with this since I was a kid. I was first diagnosed at the age of 6.
What made you decide to share this personal story?
I didn't want to. I was given the commencement address at my college university in Louisiana, and the magazine wanted to do a cover story on me, and it was going to be a nice profile, but really no news, so to speak. And at the end of the interview with me, the writer asked for the number to one of my mentors, and he called my mentor, and one of the things she said to him is, you know, I'm really proud of David for overcoming Tourette's. And so, like any good journalist would do, he called me back and he said, listen, you don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, but I'd love to know more about your Tourette's. And I said, I don't like to talk about it. I don't talk about it a lot. But if we're going to go there, I want to hopefully help people by doing it. And I want you to promise me one thing. Don't sugarcoat how bad it was as a child. And don't over-dramatize it. There was plenty of drama there. And he gave me his word, and he kept his word. I wanted to do something that would help try and just minimize the stigma that people feel around Tourette's and say to them that if it didn't stop me from achieving my dream of working at CBS News, which is exactly what happened, it does not have to stop you in any way.
Well, David, it is unbelievably inspiring to see where you are in your career and how you overcame this to become a national correspondent and a television journalist that everyone, you're a household name at this point. How were you able to do that with Tourette's?
It was really debilitating as a child, but I had two parents who never allowed me to use it as an excuse. As my interpersonal interactions were complicated by the tics that I had that made people look at me weird or judge me or ostracize me, my parents never let me feel sorry for myself. As it caused issues with being on the air, fearing, you know, I was worried that could I work at this level with having Tourette's, would I tic on television? And come to find out what usually happens is when I'm on television, no one ever sees me ticking. For whatever reason, it doesn't happen. When I get off the air, sometimes I will. But also, I don't know. I sometimes, when I think back to my own story, I ask myself how I got past childhood, because that was the most debilitating time. When kids didn't have a label or an explanation for why I was having those little tics, they were ruthless. And that's why I want to say to parents and kids, it gets better. I can promise you, it gets better.
David, what are the biggest misconceptions the public has about Tourette syndrome?
Everyone might assume that someone with Tourette's throws their arms in the air and curses. And there are cases like that. I don't want to minimize this. I don't want to dramatize it. My case is more mild. But the misconceptions often are the person will walk down the hall and yell or kind of hit things. Those are severe cases, and those are cases that we need to be mindful of and we need to talk about. And we need to know that those people are not weird. Those people have conditions. By the way, Tourette's is not life-threatening, life-altering, maybe life-debilitating, but it's not life-threatening, right? And so that's one of the biggest misconceptions, I think, is that a lot of people have very mild cases. Look, 3 people here at CBS News have come forward to me and said, I have Tourette's. And I would have never known they had Tourette's. And I didn't know until I felt comfortable sharing my own story. And through that, I've been overwhelmed with the response from parents and patients across the country who have reached out to me.
Well, you can get through anything in life as long as you know you're not alone, right?
Oh, yeah.
So sharing
Amen.
your story is very important, and continued success in all you do, David. Great to have an opportunity to talk to you today.
Ladies, thank you. Happy holidays.
And to you as well.
To you.
He is so brave, and he is going to help so many people by talking about this.
I know. It's very liberating, I'm sure, to share his story like that.
And
So
his work in Puerto Rico has been incredible, and that's ongoing as well. You can see that at cbsnews.com.
Facebook like him. There is more.